And this one. That's the one I want to pick. Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. As you can tell, we have had a venue change. So right now we are out in my carport, which is where we park our cars, because I have taken over the garage as a shop. So right now I have the coal forge, and it is lit. Welcome in. Well, good day. Hey, Parix. Welcome in. So I've got the coal forge going right now. This is the one that we made together about 2-3 weeks ago. And it seems to be working pretty well. You can see all of the smoke coming off of that. The flame's a little bit on the small side. If I move this, maybe it'll start growing a little bit. So yeah, today we are going to, and I am peeking out so bad on the audio. Let me fix that real fast. I'm gonna lower my audio or my mic just a hair. I feel like I'm a little bit too loud. Testing, testing, testing. I think I'm all right. All right, I think that's good. Okay, so I've got some flame going here, and I figured that we would take a look at some of this steel right here. The other week when we went to Indiana, not this last week, but the week before, we went to Indiana, and better, thanks, awesome. It looked like I was peeking out the speakers, so I apologize for that. We did have to move all of the equipment, so things got a little bit jostled and whatnot. So this is Atlantic 33. It is a low carbon tool steel that was developed for the U.S. Navy, and like I said, it is a low carbon tool steel, and it is supposed to get really, really hard, and I'm not supposed to have to worry about burning out the carbon or anything. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to play around with this and see how it forges. So should be hard but brittle. Well, maybe. It might be a little on the brittle side. I'm not sure. I've never worked with this. It's kind of a designer steel. This is like a 1 foot section of it, and I paid like 20 bucks for it. So it's kind of on the expensive side. I can usually get a lot more steel for a lot cheaper a price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and we're going to stick it in here. Heat it up just a little bit. Now I want to actually, all right, let's see if I can get this over. I've got a lot of new coal and not so much on the coked coal, so I'm trying not to smother my fire, but I'm also trying to like cover it so that it'll heat my metal. So we're gonna put that in there for now. Heat that metal up. Whew, very smoky today. All right, so I'll put that there for now. So yeah, it is supposed to be a low carbon steel. You guys can't really see the fire coming up yet, but there's a lot of smoke there. Welcome in. Is that the new rake you are using? Yes, it is. This is a new coal rake that we made on, what day was it? Wednesday? So yeah, we are out in the carport. I'm gonna play with some new steel. And I keep looking over at my laptop because it's like right underneath of my wide cam. I need to remember that my wide cam is right there. So it's kind of neat that I don't actually have to have my headphones on to be able to hear myself this time. The coal forge is a lot quieter than the gas forge, so that's really nice. And so yeah, we're gonna see what's going on with this steel. Looks like we've got an ad incoming, so yeah. I really hope that this decides that it's going to actually start on fire instead of like smoking like that. Pretty soon. Yay, ads. Yeah, we got lots of ads coming up. So you can see the fire right here that's starting to poke through on this smoke, and all of this green yellow smoke. And I will repeat this because we are on an ad break right now. So all of this yellow smoke is all of the imperfections and stuff coming out of the coal. And it's going to light on fire. This is the coal starting to coke. And I will repeat that when we're off of ad time. Yellow is the sulfurs. Any idea where the coal is from? This coal is from, I believe it's either from Illinois or Missouri. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, it is a bitmus coal. There is a bit of sulfur in it, but as that burns away, it's going to create coked coal, which is a much more porous and airy form of coal, and it burns much hotter than straight coal. So the reason I have so much coal piled up here is so that all of the straight coal can start turning into that coked coal, so that I can get that hot fire that I'm looking for. So I'm going to have to pay a little bit more attention to this guy than I usually do, because the coal forge has a tendency to burn steel if I am not careful. Oh, nice. It has become difficult to obtain coal in the UK. Our dumb government stopped mining and our nice, clean, burning Welsh steam coal. Been using some stuff from South Africa, which is literally half black painted rocks. Ooh, that's not cool. I mean, coal is still relatively hard to get a hold of nowadays in the United States, but it's a little bit easier than in some parts of the world. And I mean, this is specifically blacksmith coal. So it is high in like bitmus it's the bitmus coal. So it's high in good or it's relatively clean is what I'm trying to say, I guess. There is a little bit of that sulfur in there, but overall it burns relatively clean. Our latest batch is Colombian coal, which seems better. Colombian coal? I didn't even know Colombia had coal. But I mean, I suppose it makes sense. Everybody's got a little bit of coal and minerals. So I think we might want to turn the fan just a little, because the fire is starting to move that direction, and I don't want it to catch anything out that direction. I will have to pay attention to it. I use it for steam engines at a museum. Ooh, you are not the only steam engine man in chat or person in chat. We have another guy he goes by Dark, and he is an engineer for steam, not steam engines, but for trains. All right, now I need to turn this down a little bit. So we're going to get rid of a little bit of that air, because we're getting quite a lot of fire. It's a little harder to manage the blower that I've got because I've kind of got an all or nothing burner. So when it starts really going, it starts really going. So yeah, I think the coal forge is working really beautifully. I'm really happy with it overall. So I'm hoping that we can get some heat so we can take it over to the anvil and do a little bit of forging, play around with this steel. So I'm going to turn you over to that camera so you guys can kind of see a little bit the fire moving in there. Electronic control for your blower when you can afford it. A big rheostat if you come across one. Yeah, that would be great to have. Unfortunately, my blower isn't like a traditional blower. It is actually a bathroom vent fan. So it's designed to sit up in a ceiling and get steam out of your bathroom when you take your showers and baths and things. So it's not really designed to be a coal forge blower. It's more designed to be like, you know, to get rid of steam. I approve. I mean, anything to make it work, you know? So let's see how much heat we've got here. It's like we've got quite a bit of heat, actually. We're going to keep that covered a little bit. We're going to allow it to heat up just a little bit more. But yeah, we got a good hot fire going. And I am back on the wide. I started using a fan out of an old furnace. I mean, that makes sense too. I also have an inflatable blower a blower for inflatables, like jumpy things. I don't know if they have those in Europe, but here in the United States, they have like these giant inflatable areas for kids to play with. They're like ball pits and stuff, and you can jump up and down, and it's like, you know, like a giant inflatable trampoline, and it pumps out a little bit too much heat, so that's why I don't use that guy. You use what you have. Inflatable blower would be a good one. Yeah. So I've been looking to actually purchase a real blower, like a hand crank one, so that I can have a little bit more control over my fire. This is about the flame that this blower gives me, but it would be really nice if I could reduce that size of the flame, because this is a really, really big flame. All right, we've got some good orange heat going on in there. I am trying to do a little bit of upsetting, so I'm kind of gonna allow it to get up to a nice yellow heat, and then we're gonna take it over to the anvil. I'm gonna transfer from these tongs to these tongs, because these are nice, these are actually horseshoe tongs, and we're gonna do a little bit of upsetting over here on the anvil. So yeah, today's stream is going to be a little bit of a shorter one today. I'm aiming for about an hour, hour and a half on this stream, just because we have a heat advisory. It is like in the 90s in Fahrenheit, which is pretty high Celsius. I'm not entirely sure exactly what temperature that is. I guess I could Google it. Let's see if I can do that. What is our temperature? 90 Fahrenheit to Celsius. It looks like it is 32-ish degrees Celsius, so that's pretty hot. And then the added heat from the forge, so. Ooh, that's really nice heat right there. I'm liking that. Let me show you guys close up. So if you look at that, it's pretty nice and hot. So I'm almost there. Almost. We're going to cover that up just a hair and leave it in just a few more minutes. Make sure you keep hydrated. Seems this is faster than the gas furnace. It kind of is. So yeah, I have 2 of these guys that are all made up and ready to drink. But we are a little bit hot, or we are pretty hot, so I'm afraid that I just won't be able to drink enough to make up for the sweat. So we're going to do our best. And it really is a little bit faster than the gas forge. And that is because I have a much more intense heat on this coal forge than I do on the propane forge. I don't have a really good burner mix as far as propane and oxygen. I built the barrel of that forge for 2 burners, and then I only put 1 burner in it because I thought I could just kind of get away with it. And I do kind of regret it a little bit, but we'll upgrade when we can. All right. So I like the heat, the amount of heat that I've got here. So we're going to come over here to the anvil and do a little bit of upsetting. Do you need, what? Oh, you were going to move it for me? Okay. I can't see because of the glare. Go for it. I'm too short for my other camera. And I'm in the way, aren't I? Let's go to that camera. I guess we're kind of adjusting it, so maybe I shouldn't be on this camera. So I am going to put on my headphones here. Good to go? Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to try this. We're going to see how this functions. That was such a nice paint job. All right, so I have seen absolutely zero movement in that. That means I either need to get it hotter. Yep, that's what it looks like. It's not moving very nicely, so I need to get it a lot hotter. This is brand new steel, or type of steel. Oh, camera up a bit, please. All right, we can do that. All right. So yeah, we definitely need it much hotter. We're not getting any movement. So like I said, this is a brand new type of steel for me, so I'm just not as comfy as I am with even some tool steels. Good morning, the Axle Project. Welcome to the stream. We are having fun outside today. And there it goes. Yeah. So we are tending to a coal fire, which normally we do a lot of propane, but you can get a lot, or I can get a lot hotter with the coal than I can with the propane. I just don't have a good burner system, or as good of a burner system on my propane forge. I designed it myself, but I really should have used 2 burners and I only used 1. So hopefully we can get this guy up to temperature and we can move it. So much hotter. We'll have to see how hot we can get it. I am a little bit on the conservative side, I think, for this because I'm afraid of burning it. But I kind of feel like this is a type of steel that I don't really have to be afraid of burning it. I think that it's going to take quite a lot of heat to melt this guy. Trying to adjust. I have a like, I guess a vent on the bottom. So the black iron pipe is attached to a T, and so at the bottom of that T, I kind of have a gate that I can open and close, and that'll kind of redirect the airflow into the forge itself. So if I close that, I should get a little bit more intense airflow. Welcome in, Yankee. New location, who dis? I know, welcome in, Mound. So we are out in my carport. This is normally where our cars are parked because I have taken over our garage. So obviously no cars get to park in the garage. And so this is normally a parking spot for us, but today it is my smithy. And the reason why is because I don't have good ventilation for the coal forge in the shop yet. And so I really wanted to play with this new steel. It is Atlantic 33. It is a low carbon hardened steel, or hardenable steel. Isn't that a garage smith? Man, poor cars getting bullied. Yep. All the cars get bullied out here into the carport. It does have a roof and like these nice sides, so it does protect the cars from like the hail and things like that, rain and all that, but my garage is actually too small for the cars anyway. We couldn't get the garage door shut. They're so long, and my garage is from the 50s, so cars were a lot smaller back then. Pyrex says, conservative side is good. I melted a thing by accident. Coal can get really hot. It definitely can. So I try really hard to be a little on the conservative side, but I also want to make sure that I have enough heat that it'll move. And I mean, especially when I get to the point where I want to do forge welding and things like that. So I'm kind of judging how this works, like the forge itself works, but also the steel. I only have one piece of this steel, but you know, it's still fun to play with. I can order more if I want from Coal Iron Works, and they specialize mostly in power hammers or pneumatic or power hammers and presses. But they also have some accessories, and they also sell the steel. So they said that if I wanted more, I could get more. So, you know, we'll see. It is a little bit on the expensive side, but, you know. All right. Let's see. How hot are we now? We're getting there. We're getting there. Still have a little bit more time, I think. So the introductions say shoot for a lemon to light yellow, but work in it. About 1825 to 1975 Fahrenheit. Exactly. Oh, so the instructions. Did you look up the Atlantic 33? That's so cool. I have not actually. So I used to have an application on my phone that told me all of the metallurgical data on any type of steel. So I could just search whatever steel I was looking at and it would tell me the instructions of it on it. And that was amazing because I could go to the scrapyard and find labeled pieces of tool steel, and then I could look them up and see if I was able to work them or not. That is so cool. I will have to look it up too. I looked up what the type of steel was, but I didn't actually look at the instructions on it. They just said get it up real hot and it'll work. So I was like, okay. So we're playing with it. So I need a little bit more heat because we're still at an orange. I will say, though, that it's a little bit more difficult to see the color of the steel when I'm out here in daylight. There's a lot of really bright light. I'm under shade, but it's still all of that light leak from outside the sun makes it a little bit more challenging to see the color of the steel. So let's pull this out a little bit. We'll see what we got. Almost. We're almost there. And I keep saying that. This piece of steel is so big that I keep breaking my coal shell. Cannonball Forge is the website that I got the info from. Awesome. Cannonball Forge. I will have to remember that so that I can actually look it up. Yeah. Awesome. So it seems to be working out pretty well. I wish it was a little bit faster because I don't think I have a lot of time out here and I want to get some work done, you know? Do I have a Discord? Yes, I do have a Discord. It is there is a link to it below or on the channel page. It should just be a Discord link. So I would greatly appreciate it if you posted the link to the Forge into the Discord. You can stick it in general or you could stick it in like information. That would be amazing. Thank you. Found it. We'll send you the link. Thank you so much. I also think, do I have it there? No, I don't. I don't have my links on my little chat bot, do I? I should change that so I can put the Discord on it. Whoops. Goodness gracious. So, yesterday, we put a toilet in my bathroom. It used to be a hole in the wall, you know, where it was just our empty room that we had gutted and we had walls and a floor in it. And now it's got a toilet. And so I'm really excited about that. And so, yeah, it's always nice to get parts of your projects done. All right. So I think we're good to go. We're going to go on to this guy real fast, and I'm going to show you how hot this is. So that's pretty darn hot. Now we're going to put this back in there just a little bit, and we are going to move the camera to the anvil. Well, that beats using a hole in the floor. It definitely does. All right, so we're going to go over here to the anvil, and I'm going to take this over here. Hopefully you guys can kind of see this. You can kind of see the paint flaking off of it. Look at that scale flying off. We're definitely getting some movement here. That's pretty awesome. Pretty happy. But I think we're getting more bending than upsetting. So I'm going to try and, whoa, that's not good. Up, 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 up. There we go. So I'll put those there so maybe you guys can see a little bit better. So back in the forge we go. Stay. It's like I got some clinker in the bottom here, maybe. Hot. Or it's not hot, it's the smoke getting all up in my nose. Start coking that up. There we go. That should be pretty good. More heat. Yes, exactly. Hi Ray, happy summer. I like your new outdoor setup. Thank you so much, Mahalo. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, give me a moment. The smoke or the coal smoke tends to get in my when I start breathing it in. I may have to use my mask here in a second. I think I'll be all right though, for the moment. But yeah, it seems to be doing pretty well. I got a little bit of movement, so I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't get as much compression as I wanted though. So I'm wondering if maybe I can get a little bit more pressure if I'm using the press in the shop. So it would be really nice to get some ventilation so that I can use the coal forge inside the shop. But yeah. So it's interesting out here. I'm not entirely sure I like it because I live on a busy road, like in this area. I'd rather be in the shop because I live on a busy road. So we've kind of got a shield of our cars so that you can't see it really directly. But I still am not entirely sure I like the fact that, you know, cars passing by might be able to see us working. I also live near a police station, and there's a part of me that's tiny bit afraid that maybe, you know, they might call the cops on me. They shouldn't. They shouldn't care. I'm not like in a neighborhood or association or anything, but you know, still. But yeah, I really think that this coal forge is working beautifully. Beautifully, beautifully. So one of the cool things about a coal forge is that as you start burning the coal and when it cokes up, you can kind of push it on top of your piece of steel. And as it starts to burn down, it actually starts attaching to one another. So all of the different lumps of coal start affixing to one another. And so it creates what a lot of people will call a coal tent. And so if I were to take that piece out very carefully, I would not disturb that cohesion, and it just creates this like hot tent of heat. Less expensive to operate than gas propane burner. It really depends on your area. Some places you can get coal relatively cheap. And some places it's a little bit more expensive. And, you know, it's not just the expense of the coal itself, but it's also the expense of driving out to get your coal. So I am fortunate that I live near the BAM and also the IBA, and they both have coal dumps or like drop sites, so that you can actually go out to their drop sites and purchase coal from them. And it is good blacksmith coal, that good bitmouth coal that creates that coal tent. And I'll continue this conversation when the ad is complete. So we are on ad break number 2. I wonder if that Amazon truck can smell the smoke. Yeah. I'm almost done with this guy already. Do you have a hand truck to move that anvil around? That's a chore. I do, actually, and we did use it to move out here. The only problem with my hand truck is that it's got flat tires right now. So I'm wondering if maybe, because I have 2 of them, one's a red one, one's a green one, and I think the green one has inflated tires, but I'm pretty sure the red one does not, and that's the one we used. There's a little bit more effort to get it out here. This guy's empty. So yeah, we're gonna hang out a little bit more and see if we can't get this guy to upset a little bit. And what I mean by upsetting is I am trying to hammer the material back on itself. So I'm hammering on the length to kind of compress it and make it shorter. And I have to stop periodically because the coal, it takes a lot more. It's very needy, so it requires a lot more maintenance to keep that nice hot core so that I can get my metal as hot as I need it to be. I'm really glad that I actually sprung to add more coal to this guy. It's starting to eat through it. Got a couple other 50-pound bags though, so I'm good to go. Seriously, flat tires. I know you have a shop air. I do have shop air. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why I haven't inflated them. I need to do that. And I do have shop air, so there's no excuse. Laziness, maybe? The inner tubes on those are notoriously awful. Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why it is so flat is because there really isn't an inner tube in it. They kind of have used the tire itself, like the rubber, as an inner tube, so it doesn't really have an inside one. Don't let lazy be the cause of a bad back. Exactly. You're right. You're right. But yeah, we've been moving all kinds of really heavy things, and we have so those are the door dollies that we use to move the anvil. We have another hand truck that's like a flatbed hand truck that we've been using to move a lot of the heavy pieces for our bathroom remodel lately, and that one has good tires. All right, how you doing? Okay. I think we are almost hot enough to do another course on trying to get it to compress. I need to pick up these sets of tongs. Oh, you refilled it. Awesome. So my partner is here today and doing some behind the scenes stuff and refilled my water for me. All right. I think we've got plenty of heat. Let me see. A little bit more, I think. I keep wanting to take it out, but it's just not quite there. It needs to tip over. I wish I could get it a little bit deeper in the coal pot. Maybe that is an issue. I don't think so, though. I think it'll be all right. Well played. Jolly good. Well done, partner. Yes, very much. It is so nice to have him around to, you know, refill water and to help me with the cameras and stuff. Sometimes I myself struggle with that. Give it time. I know, I'm impatient. I am so impatient. Mostly because I want to see it do something, and, you know, I'm impatient. That's a really bad quality to have in a blacksmith. So let's see. What else is going on? I don't know. I have or I didn't really think that I was going to have to talk as much today because I thought that this would go a little bit faster, but, you know, whatever. So this steel, this Atlantic 33, is something that I purchased at the Indiana Blacksmith Association conference when we went a couple weeks ago. And I bought it from Coal Iron Forge, and they told me all about it. It sounded really interesting. They said that it was designed for submarines, like the American submarine, like the Navy. And they designed it so that guys who were in submarines could feel it and pick it up and know that it was that it was hardenable. So this actually has a unique shape to it. It is fluted. So instead of being a square bar or a round bar, it's kind of like a flower on the outside of it. So it's got some concave along the straights, and then the corners are rounded off. So it's kind of got like petals almost. It's really interesting shaped. So I'm pretty excited about that. I really wanted to play with it because I thought that shape would be interesting to play with. All right, looks like I'm getting some clinker in the bottom of here, so I'm going to pull the steel and we'll see if we can't move it a little bit. And then after that, I'm going to clean out some clinker. So I'm going to go to that camera. You can kind of see in the bottom that there's some like really awful looking clinker. There's some cold spots. It does not help that I have my fan going exactly on the steel. Need to straighten it out just a little bit. All right. I'm going to put this over here for the moment. Then we're going to clean out some clinker. Moving that out. All right. There we go. That's much more better. Whew. There we go. Do you know if this kind of steel is extruded in that clover shape or does it get pressed in rollers? Now, I am honestly not sure, but I would imagine that it would be extruded in that shape. Most long stock is extruded and then rolled along rollers. So yeah, it's extruded and then rolled under pressure. Some can be, or it's like either it's rolled along rollers and either while it's cold or while it's still hot, and that is a price difference. So when you go to the steel supply, you can ask for a cold rolled or hot rolled, and cold rolled is a little bit on the more expensive side. I'm gonna put my mask on because the smoke is starting to get to me. There we go. Much more better. All right. What do I got? What am I missing? Something was in my hand. I don't know what it was. I think I'm all right. So I get just enough protection from this mask so that it doesn't, like the particles of the sulfur and the little particles of coal aren't going into my respiratory system with this guy. It's not a chemical mask, it's more of a dust mask, but it still helps quite a bit. So the suppliers call the shape a flutagon, which is cool. Exactly. So there aren't a lot of really regular suppliers of this stuff, but Coal Iron Forge is they have a really reliable source, or they are a really reliable source for this stuff. So they have a website, Coal Iron Forge, or I guess it's coalironworks.com. And like I said, they specialize in pneumatic presses and power hammers. Some of them most of them are self-contained. Some of them that you have to add a air compressor to them. Flutagon, yeah. That is a good, nice, hot flame. Pretty happy with that. Crack rock steady. Time to forge a grill grate and have an easy way to have a snack while the metal heats, right? So I have a few friends who, when they're doing forging, what they'll do is they will put their snacks on top of the gas forge, and then it'll heat them, or they'll put hot dogs or marshmallows on sticks and they'll heat them in the forge. It's really fast. It goes so fast. All right. We're getting a good heat on that piece now. I think maybe I was having so much trouble before because I think there was clinker in the bottom and I didn't even realize it. So we're getting real close to that lemon yellow heat, which is really, really nice. We'll wait just a few more minutes just so that it can kind of soak into the center of the piece. So the bad part about wearing this mask is that now I am not free to drink my water anymore. So yeah. When playing steam engines, I cook breakfast over the fire on a coal shovel. See, I don't think that I would do that. I feel like the coal itself would be a little bit on the dirty side. I don't know that I would want it to eat the coal, you know? Unless you clean it before you cook your food on it, you know? See, that's my deal with eating out here in the shop, is that there is so much metal dust and like just ash and all kinds of crazy fluxes and weirdness that I don't want to eat it, you know? Let's see, am I getting sparkles? I am getting a few little sparkles, tiny sparkles. So I think it's pretty good heat-wise. Everything else just adds flavor. Yeah, the shovel gets cleaned or tin foil applied. That makes sense. All right, I'm gonna go to that camera. All right, so we've got a good amount of heat here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer this really early so that way I'm good to go. So let's go. So some of you guys might be wondering why I'm trying to upset this guy. And the reason that I'm actually trying to upset it is because I really want to make a hammer eye drift out of it. But it's a little bit too thin for that. So I'm making do with what I got. I need to stop doing that. Dropping it. Seems like it was doing pretty decently. We're getting a little bit of upset. So yeah, I am trying to make a hammer eye drift. So the little hole here in the hammer, I would like to get that to a point where it's thick enough that I can make it a oval shape and punch out, or I guess hold a hammer so that I can work on the cheeks and stuff. That looks a better color. You really didn't get long work with this stuff. You really don't. Like, I feel like I had, you know, like 5 or 6 heats. It really does not help that I have an industrial fan over here blowing directly at me. And so it is, what it is doing is it is blowing all of the smoke in that direction, but it is also blowing directly on the steel. So if I could manage to not have it blowing directly on the steel, I might get a couple more heats, but honestly, or hits, honestly, I don't think that's the issue. Because it's really more of a surface issue. The air would be blowing on the surface of the steel, not the interior heat, but the interior heat, and that's really where that movement goes. So yeah. Can you use yourself to shield the work back to the fan, but more heat into the work is needed? I mean, probably. I could probably do that. A good workspace with those baffles there. Yeah. So we've got these nice And I think the reason that we have those is so that when it gets really windy, they'll open up and not blow the whole building away. Agreed. I like the shutters. Yeah, so we can actually shut these in the wintertime and keep snow and ice off of the cars a little bit. But it allows for good airflow between, the sides of the shop, or I guess the carport. Because it's my current shop, but it's the carport. So I think I'm going to do a couple more heats on this, but really I need to think about packing up a little bit because it is really, really hot out here. Super hot. And I need to take a minute to cool down. We were here about an hour before the stream started, kind of setting things up a little bit. So I feel like I've been a little bit longer out in this heat than, it would be nice to cool down a little bit, take a cold shower. But I want to do a couple more heats on this. We're almost ready for another one. But yeah, this guy it doesn't work very hard, or I guess it's really hard to work, I guess. It doesn't want to move. I'm getting a lot more bending than I am compressing. So I'll have to think about that and come up with a good solution. The press might be your answer with upsetting this faster. You just have to be careful. Yeah, and I mean, I will have to move the bottom or the base of the press. So I do have a movable base. It comes with these really big, thick pegs. And so if I move it down one set of holes, I might be able to get the whole thing under the press, and then I'll get that nice compression because it's it's that 20 tons, and I can't get that amount of work with my, by hand with the hammer. But in order to do that, I have to figure out a good way to be able to work from the coal forge and the press. Right now I have a really long walk from here to the press, so I need to come up with a good way to be able to work closer and to move things closer. All right, so we are going to move back to this camera. I'm going to put that there for the moment. Grab a hold of this. And I'm going to try this way so I can maybe shield myself or the piece from the So we are actually getting a little bit of thickness coming in. If you look closely, and you probably can't because I'm not sure that the camera is close enough, but there is a tiny bit of thickness that is starting to, you can kind of see it right there. It's starting to bulge out just a little bit. So that's really nice. I want to get another really good heat on there. Get a nice coal tent on there. heat, more heat. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's working a little bit better. Maybe having my back towards the, or like coming around this direction for the anvil so that I'm like blocking the fan a little bit. Getting a little bit more work time, not too terribly much, but a little bit more. So that's good. Yeah, you got to be really careful about that. So yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the, the fact that I'm able to get it to move at all. It is a little bit hard for my taste. Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of A2. A2 is a air hardenable tool steel. That's why the A is in the denotation. So it's air cool steel. So A2. It's really, really hard steel, and you have to get it almost to its melting point before you can work it. And that's what this reminds me of. You got to get it super hot. Welcome in, Ping. Greetings. So we are currently here in my carport. This is normally where our cars park, outside of the shop. And so we are here using the coal forge because I still can't get the vent quite working the way I want it to. I might work on it a little bit. Okay. I might work on it a little bit this weekend, but I gotta, be aware of what I am doing. There's a lot of like really seeds. They're like fluffy seeds and they're floating all over, so I'm a little nervous right now. Coke is better fuel if you can get a hold of it. Cleaner burning and hotter. Exactly. This is a different cool space. Yeah, this is my carport. This is normally where we park our cars because my garage is our shop, or my shop. My shop is too small to fit my truck. So, oh, sure. Okay. We are going to show you the shop from here. So it's just going to be a quick pan. So that is the shop and all of the junk and garbage everywhere. You can kind of see it a little bit. So, and here we are. We're in the carport, like I said. And this is, there's a cable that's on. Okay, there you go. So yeah, this is normally where we park our cars because they wouldn't fit in the garage even if we tried. Oh, that's cool. Not that far to go then. No, I mean, like I said, we just, kind of shifted everything about, 15 feet in one direction. Although we did kind of flip it 90 degrees as well. But we might be doing this more frequently. Probably, I don't know. We might not be doing it more frequently just because it's a lot of rain and stuff. But it is my goal to use the coal forge a little bit better. So hopefully I can get the ventilation in the shop done. So yeah. I live in a neighborhood that doesn't have a neighborhood association, which is a big issue here in the United States. A lot of neighborhoods have neighborhood associations, and it gives people an excuse to be nosy to their neighbors. So I lucked out, and we don't have to, people don't care what you do around here. So that's why I'm able to do this. But we've got a pretty big yard, too. It looks like we have an ad coming. So once that ad is done, I'll probably do another heat. And we might do one more heat after that. So 2 more heats total. Just because I want to see if I can't get a little bit more compression. But I am getting a little bit warm and I'm sweating quite a bit. So I need to get back in the air conditioning. HOAs are the devil. They are. So I fortunately do not have to deal with one. So we have a couple acres of property, and so it's relatively easy to put my shop here on my property. Yeah. But I know I'm a lucky person because not everybody has that advantage. We're starting to develop a lot more clinker, so I think I'm going to need, I think I will be able to get 2 heats out of this before I have to like shut it down and get a bunch of that clinker out of there. But I think we'll be all right. So we've got a little bit of time left in that ad. Once the ad is complete, I will pull the steel out and we'll do another heat. Good and hot. You know what we forgot to bring out here? We forgot to bring my my brush for the scale out here. It's underneath the post vise. It's a blue like brush with steel bristles. So I want to clean the anvil off a little bit. There's some scale developing on here, and there's already enough scale on the piece itself. So I'm going to clean this off real fast, and then we'll do another heat. All right. I'll stick that over there for the moment. Okay. So we are on the fire now. I'm going to put that there for now. And I am not worried about compressing the steel in the wrong direction while I am doing this because I'm just straightening it out. There is a lot of air underneath of it, so that air is going to bend it as opposed to compress it. So we're bending, we're not compressing. So you can kind of see that steel, it's starting to compress. So I definitely think that the press is going to help us move that steel faster. This is a really hard steel. It's not working quite as well as I want it to. So we're going to do another heat, and then I'll probably shut it down for the day. And we'll probably be back on Monday. Back in the regular shop, and we'll see what I can, or we'll come up with something to do in the normal shop, at least until I can figure out a good way to vent out all of the coal smoke. We'll get out the forge again at some point in the future, sooner than later, but I need to get some ventilation, or better ventilation, in the shop. I think the issue with the press will be getting it to, or into the press while it's still hot enough to move. And I mean, that might be the case, but if I can move, or if I can start using the coal forge in the shop, then it will only be a couple feet. I have a window in my shop, and if I can get a good ventilation or a vent fan and a flume that goes out the window, I should be able to get it really close to my to the press. So hopefully, you know, I can make it work. We have a over the oven or like over a range vent hood for like a stove. It's not powerful enough for the coal smoke, and it does make it fills the shop with coal smoke. So I've got to figure out a way to increase the amount of suction that I have on it. So I think putting a bigger hood and directing it, and I don't know why, but the laptop is the laptop dying, or is it? I think you guys can still see me. Weird. But yeah, so I'm hoping that it works. That's really weird. How's the battery doing on this thing? It's plugged in. It should be fine. I don't know why it fell asleep. It says it's at 100%. My laptop's being weird. A large hood with a tall chimney would be ideal. Yes. Normally it is. I just don't really want to, I can't really cut a hole in the ceiling. What was that?
Lost.
Huh?
Lost.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. There is an attic in my garage, so I can't really put a hole in the ceiling. You are still here. Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure because my laptop fell asleep. You know how like when a computer is idle for too long, it'll do that black screen thing. And that's what it did. And normally it doesn't do that. So I wasn't sure if like the RAM got overwhelmed or something, because it's been doing that lately. This is a really old laptop. We'll get it to work though. How are we doing on the heat? We're getting there. A couple more minutes. Out the window with a couple 45s. Flu is expensive though. Yeah, it kind of is. So I'm thinking about putting a couple more fans out the window, and I'm considering fabricating a box out of sheet steel with a funnel for it. So that way it'll like suck up, or there's more pressure if it's a smaller hole. I have a plan. It's just hard to articulate for me right now, I think. It's starting to get really warm. All right. I think we're going to do this last heat, and then I'm probably going to end the stream. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Sorry the stream is so short. We're in under a heat advisory, and with the excess heat from the coal forge, it's just a little bit too hot. So we're gonna try this. What am I doing? Yes. I got what I need. There we go. So here we go. That's actually a pretty decent amount of growth for hand doing this. So I'm actually pretty impressed. No, I don't. The bad part of this carport is that it is actually on asphalt. So that's not cool when you drop things on it. All right. So I think that's all I got in me for the moment. I'm starting to make some mistakes, and I think it's because I'm hot. So thank you all so much for joining me today, and I will be back in the shop on Monday. So I hope to see you guys then. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you for streaming. It's been interesting. Playing with new materials is always fun. Thank you, Pyrex. See ya, Mahalo. Have a great weekend. Let's see who is on to raid. You know what? It would help if I had my outro going, right? That's a thing that I normally do. You too. Thanks, Harold Spark. All right, let's see. Who do we got? Who is streaming? It's going to take forever again. Let's go to Pyripherus. I know I've been going over there quite a lot lately, but I like to raid my friends. Here we go. Thank you guys and have a great weekend.